I'm going to say a little bit about the history of Kadampa Center. Now, I'm supposed to be like a segue between the teachings and then some of the people that come after me. So I figured I would talk a little bit about where I see Kadampa Center today, and also for people that don't know much about where we've come from, I'll say a few words about that. But so if I tend to be a little wordy here, Colin, you have to calm me down for a minute. Also at the end, I'm also going to read a letter that only a few people have ever heard it. Joanna would be one of them. This letter came from Lama Zopa in 1991, and I'll just read parts of it, but it was actually when he named the center, so it was kind of a very important letter for us to receive at that time. And then I'll say a few words, mention some things about generosity, and then Lama Yeshe. So all this is going to be done in 5 minutes, or less. So anyway, where we are today exceed, I mean, if you think about our dreams, like back in the late 80s and early 90s, those of us that were around, and Joanna and Herb, and Patrick was he wasn't a nominal Buddhist at the time, but he was definitely there in heart and spirit, and he helped construct that place in Jack Rice's basement. And he wasn't even coming to the center to practice at the time. So it's amazing amount of generosity that people like that showed. But we had a vision for the center, and what we have now is so far beyond what we could even dream of at those times. We used to have these little gatherings where we would, draw lines out from someplace, and this is what we want, this is what we want. Well, we've gotten all that, and then and even more. So it's kind of amazing if you can think about it. As Lama Zopa says, everything exists on the tip of a wish. So just having the wish to have a place where people can practice, all those dreams have come true, and now we have an opportunity to dream even bigger. So what we have is amazing. It's amazing because here we are in a non-Buddhist country, right? So people used to say, where do you live? And I said, oh, we have, what do you do there? Is there a center there? And I said, well, it's sort of like a Dharma desert, being in Raleigh. And it was, but I don't think it is now. But, it's amazing. Here we are in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we have this wonderful facility, and we have a resident teacher. We have a connection with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. We have a connection with the Mahayana tradition. We have a connection with the FPMT, which has fed us Geshe Gelek and Geshe Soga before him. And you can't imagine how many wonderful teachers have been here and benefited this community. So we have all of the, Lama Zopa, and he's an amazing teacher. And then we have, when I look around and see what we have going on now, we have regular, almost every night or every day of the week there's something going on, right? There's like Sunday morning teachings, and there are teachings for children, and there are things going on during the week, and all kinds of practices going on that are supporting our spiritual community. And literally from, I'm not going to say from the womb to the tomb, but literally babies all the way up to when you're dying. We have programs to support our community. So it's, to me, that's unbelievable. And then we have outreach programs. We've got, and I wish Herb was here, because Herb was part of that original nucleus of people that actually created the energy for us to get named Kadampa Center. But Herb has been instrumental in prison work for over a decade, probably a decade and a half. And so we have that. We have the 16 guidelines that Denise has been working on, that's really spreading all across the world, benefiting people, children in particular, but even adults. Those programs are wonderful. We've done things with hospice. We've been to churches. We're involved, several members have been involved in the interfaith movement, and on and on. So our spiritual community, what we have now is amazing, and I think lots of room for growth, but what we've done is truly remarkable. And I'm not exaggerating, thousands of people have come through the door, not just in this place, but in the basement. Thousands of people have come through. Not everybody stays, thankfully, but you know, 'cause actually that would be good, wouldn't it? But it's like so many people's hearts and minds have been touched by Tibetan, you know, by our teachers and the teachings that have been offered. People's lives have been transformed, and then we have, on top of that, we have, because of these kinds of experiences that people have, it's generated amazing volunteers, people that have been willing to work for virtually nothing or nothing. Most people get nothing, and except the joy of contributing to the Dharma. So all of those are some of the, just, you know, some of the things that I see have been going on. And you know, when we came up with the name Kadampa Center, it's kind of long, but it was the Kadampa Center for the Practice of Tibetan Buddhism. I sort of added that last part on because I want to make it clear who we were, and most people didn't know. But I really think that our name could be Kadampa Center for for teaching compassion and peace in the world. Because that's really what we're about. We're really about teaching people how to access their inner wisdom and compassion, and then sharing that with others. I want to say a couple of words. How am I doing? Which piece of paper? Is that 3 minutes? Oh, okay. I want to say a little bit about the name Kadampa Center. How many people said, when they said, I'm going to Kadampa Center today, how many people thought, well, when they come through the door, that's Kadampa Center? How many people think that? Come on, be honest. I mean, I sort of did, but there is no Kadampa Center, is there? We had this experience, you know, when about 3 years ago, when Jack Rice kicked us out of our basement, and we had no place to go. And it was literally at the 11th hour that Robert and Elizabeth Roman offered us their martial arts studio. I mean, Kadampa Center only, in that time, it only existed in the minds and hearts of the people that were committed to having a spiritual community and a place to practice. And we stayed in their martial arts studio for, close to a year, and still we were Kadampa Center, but we had really no place. So it's not the building, it's not, and then I want to say this too about Kadampa Center, it's a dependent arising. There is no Kadampa Center except the label in our minds. Remember, the Buddha said, most important teaching in all of Buddhism, dependent arising. Everything exists in dependence upon 3 things. In dependence upon parts. We've got lots of parts here in the room today. It depends upon causes and conditions. All right, what are the causes and conditions of Kadampa Center? You know, there's historical Buddha, then all of the great teachers and enlightened beings up to Lama Atisha, who ended up in Tibet, who was the father of the Kadampa lineage, which then he had all these Kadampa masters. The Galupa lineage came from that. And then we have, you know, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Yeshe, Lama Zopa. It's like, and then all of those of us that have been participating, you know, literally we're standing on the shoulders, and I'm including myself, on all these fantastic holy beings, and then all the people that have worked in this center for. And I'm just such a small cog in the wheel. I might have gotten something started, but the real worker bees, a lot of them are here in this room. But over the years, so many people have contributed to making this thing a reality. So Kadampa Center really is a perfect Dharma teaching in terms of arising independence upon amazing causes and conditions. And those causes and conditions can stop. You know, it's up to us to keep this spirit, this sort of passion for the Dharma alive. Let's see. Colin, I'm almost there.